This question is an interesting one. It's from Andy, and he's essentially asking how to, like, what kind of study methods for people who have ADHD, and the challenges of people who deal with like constant interruptions that would prevent them to be able to stay focused. And overlapping with that, one of the comments that I'm seeing live is from Nendo saying, I can't believe Benny has been able to pull off 8 hours a day for 3 months on so many occasions. So there's an overlap with these two that I want to address. That effectively, if you guys don't know, I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed it and everything, and it's been a big theme of my life. So how can somebody with ADHD focus for 8 hours? Because for me, I get distracted by the smallest things. And for instance, I can't ever study in a coffee shop because when it's safe to do so, there's too many interruptions. There are people coming and going, and I am completely unable to focus in that kind of environment. So I have to be at home in a quiet place and have noise cancelling headphones on and so on. But how do I manage to create 8 hours in a day? Well, I actually cannot sit down for 8 hours in one go. What I do is I split that up. So firstly, I split the 8 hours up into 4 sessions of 2 hours. So maybe something like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., then a lunch break, and then another 2 sessions of 2 hours in the later part of the day. But then the second thing is I, again, cannot sit down for 2 hours straight. So the way I've worked through that, and something that you guys would have seen me mention for a very long time on the blog, is I'm a fan of the pomodoro technique, or time boxing. So effectively, I know that if I'm going to sit down and not really give myself any kind of limitations or criteria, the second a thought enters my mind, like, ooh, I wonder what John is doing today, and I'll pick up my phone and look it up on Instagram and see what his latest story updates are, and I've completely lost whatever momentum on the thing I was doing, and that temptation is constantly like a woodpecker is pecking away at my brain, saying, do this thing, check that thing, do something else that you're not doing right now. So my method is I will give myself 25 minutes, exactly 25 minutes. I'll have a physical timer that I can see for the entire period of time that I'm doing it. And I agree with myself that I cannot have any interruptions. So obviously my phone is either off or on airplane mode, and I have put everything far away from me, and I don't see like the mess in the kitchen or whatever. I try to make sure that I'm in as an non-distractionable, if that's a word, situation as I possibly can set myself up in. And I'm still tempted. 10 minutes in, I still think to myself, oh, should I see what's happening on Twitter? But at least because 25 minutes is such an achievably small amount of time, I'm able to have the willpower to survive for 25 minutes and be like, no, I'll look at that when I'm done, and I'll stay focused on the task for 25 minutes. And then for 5 minutes, I'm allowed to do whatever I want. So I can open up Twitter, I can open up Instagram, I can stand up, walk around, look at the birds tweeting outside, clean the kitchen if that thought came to my mind. I can do these things for that little break, and then I get back to the main 25-minute section. So I've actually split my day up into 25-minute chunks that add up to just under the 2 hours. I'll try to have that one thing I'm trying to do intensively, and then I have a break, and then I come back to it. So that's effectively like when people think, how can I do something for 8 hours? That's how I do it with huge attention issues. Is I look at the micro moments of time, and I really don't allow myself to take any interruptions. So that's what I would suggest for anyone with ADHD, or anyone who in general feels like they can't focus for this amount of time, is to time box things, to just agree with yourself that just for 25 minutes, you're not going to let yourself be interrupted. I personally would never be able to not let myself be interrupted for 2 hours or any kind of stretch of time like that. But I agree with myself. It's okay. If the thought comes to my mind, like I super want to check Twitter for whatever reason, I'll let myself do that when the 25 minutes have passed, and I have a very big visual timer. You could put this on your computer screen. You could download an app that shows this. You can just have a physical clock that you're looking at. Whatever it may be, that helps you to kind of stay focused until that time runs out. One of my favorite ways to spend a Pomodoro session is with a podcast language lesson from Pod 101. With dozens of languages and hours of audio and video, it's a great way to keep developing your target language. Sign up using our link to help our channel and to get access to loads of free material.